The email arrives at 4:47 p.m. on a Thursday, subject line deliberately gentle. Important update regarding your role. Your position, along with 340 others, has been eliminated, effective in 2 weeks due to process automation initiatives. You stand very still in the doorway of an office you won't be returning to on Monday. You do the math before you feel anything else. Before grief, before anger, your brain does arithmetic. $4,100 in checking, $8,200 in savings, monthly expenses roughly $4,000 once you strip out the discretionary parts you'll cut immediately. That's 3 months, maybe less if anything breaks. This is the specific, undignified truth about job loss nobody prepares you for. The emotional processing waits in line behind the spreadsheet. The automation itself doesn't feel personal, which somehow makes it worse. Your role got replaced by a system that does the same review in 1/10 the time with a comparable error rate. Nobody did this to you specifically. A system got better at a narrow task you'd spent 6 years mastering, and the math simply stopped requiring you. There's no villain here, which is its own disorienting kind of loss. Week 1, you tell people, and you learn who actually shows up. You call your parents first? A friend from college sends a genuinely useful list of hearing companies within an hour, unprompted. Someone closer responds with performative concern that somehow centers their own anxiety more than yours. You notice, you don't say anything. You're learning in real time who shows up for the unglamorous version of a crisis. You update your resume and feel the specific vertigo of realizing your skills had a shelf life you never tracked. 6 years of expertise and the uncomfortable questions staring back. What part of what you did was actually you versus the system you were operating inside of? Week 2, severance is smaller than you hoped, and you learn to ask anyway. 12 weeks of pay, genuinely helpful, genuinely not enough to fully offset the anxiety math. You negotiate one small thing, an extra month of subsidized health coverage, and feel a strange pride at having asked for anything during a conversation designed to make asking feel optional. Days blur into a repetitive shape you didn't expect. Mornings, applications disappearing into silence within 48 hours. Afternoons, carefully worded networking messages. Evenings, the exhaustion of unpaid labor with no paycheck attached. You budget your days the way you're now budgeting money, fixed hours on applications, fixed hours on rest, because burning out 3 weeks in is its own financial risk nobody puts in the spreadsheet. Subscriptions go first without hesitation. Dining out gets replaced by the same 4 cheap meals. What surprises you is what you don't cut. The gym membership, $30 a month, you justify as mental health infrastructure rather than luxury, and you're right, though you second-guess it weekly anyway. Month 1 ends exactly where the spreadsheet predicted. Comforting and terrifying at once. Comforting because the math was accurate, terrifying because on schedule means the countdown is real. 2 first-round interviews, neither converts. The rejection emails start feeling identical, templates you've half memorized. Month 2, you widen the search and something shifts. You'd been chasing roles nearly identical to the one automation eliminated. You start applying more broadly, adjacent fields, roles using pieces of your skill set rather than your old exact title. Harder to write cover letters for. Also, unexpectedly, where the actual responses start coming from. A recruiter calls about a role touching your old field but requiring fluency in the exact technology that made your position obsolete. Companies, it turns out, need people who understand both the old process and the new system well enough to bridge them. You start learning the thing that replaced you. Evenings, unpaid, working through tutorials on the automation category that eliminated your job, motivated by genuine curiosity and a spite you don't examine too closely. There's something almost funny about becoming fluent in the mechanism of your own obsolescence as the actual strategy for staying employable. Not universal advice, but for you in this field, it's exactly the skill gap the market quietly needs filled. Week 9, $3,100 left, and the anxiety turns concrete. You calculate exactly how many weeks this survives at current burn rate. The number is smaller than you want. You finally have the conversation with your parents you'd been avoiding, not asking for money, testing whether the option exists. It does, confirming it doesn't remove the anxiety but changes its shape from a cliff edge to a slope with an actual bottom. Week 11, an offer arrives and it isn't triumph. The salary is 8% below what you made before, requiring exactly the hybrid skill set you built in unpaid evenings. You feel relief mixed with low-grade exhaustion that doesn't lift just because the countdown stopped. You negotiate, gaining back half the gap, using research skills you didn't have 3 months ago, born entirely out of necessity. What actually changed underneath the job itself? Specific skill set has a shelf life independent of your competence at it. Being good at something doesn't protect it from becoming unnecessary. That's not a personal failure, just a fact about how tasks and technology interact over time. You've stopped fully identifying with any single job title. You also know something the spreadsheet never could have shown you. You can survive 11 weeks of compounding financial anxiety without it breaking anything essential about who you are. The new job's first paycheck, you redirect a fixed percentage back into savings before anything else touches it, a slightly larger cushion than before, informed by exactly how close 11 weeks felt to the edge. This reflects common patterns, not a guarantee of similar outcomes. Reemployment timelines and salary recovery vary significantly by field, location, and economic conditions. If you're facing job loss, unemployment benefits, career counseling, and industry retraining programs may be available depending on your situation. Somewhere right now, someone is reading an email with a subject line gentler than what it actually says, standing still, doing the math before they let themselves feel anything else. They don't know yet how their 11 weeks go, neither did you.